Welcome back to the YouTube channel, guys. Analysis for the past 2 weeks has been brilliant. Make sure you subscribe to keep up to date. Let's go. Last week's candle, price found us here in the 42.8 region. That's where we closed off. And I did mention in last week's video, click the card above just to recap, just to watch last week's video. I did mention that even though we had some bullish momentum on bullish daily candles, I did expect price to actually keep coming down and break 42s, which happened. So we've seen now that this last week has clearly broken the weekly base that we mentioned after this double top. We've moved down to this weekly level. As we can see, we're having a rejection of it. So as we can see for this week, we've broken this weekly base of 42s as we expected. And we've now had a reaction of this weekly level, as you can see. We've had a long wick of this weekly resistance turn support now. So what we need to see now is what's going to happen in the next following days. So we may see price creep back up to 42 to retest this base that was broken, and then we can see a rollover. If this is broken cleanly on the daily though, and we keep pushing up, we can expect prices to reach 43.5s. Let's go down to the daily now. So as I mentioned, we've had this reaction on this weekly resistance level. You can see price slowing down for the past couple of days. After we had 1, 2, 3, 4 bearish days, we've had Friday was a bullish day. Some would call this a engulfing pattern or railway candles. But I like to see engulfing candles where it's a clear engulf. So I'll give you an example, something like this, where price clearly breaks all the way past, where the previous days were, rather than this one, which is very, very close to Thursday's high. Okay. So what do I expect to see for next week? We're going to see if this level can actually be held. As we can see, these were all-time highs at one point. So we're going to see if this level can be held. And as I mentioned, when we go down to 4 hour, you'll actually be able to see this. We haven't broken cleanly above the previous highs. Okay, the previous high leg of the 4 hour, 1 hour candles. Okay, so there's a possibility we can hold price here and then just keep rolling over, because I'm actually expecting price to reach these lows. Which is mid to low 40s. Okay, that's what I'm expecting. Again, we're going to go down to 4 hours so you can see that. So that's the first scenario. We hold these highs as it was all-time highs and it was a previous resistance that we've cleanly broken below it. We can roll back down, or we can break above it and we can be targeting 42s for retesting this weekly base. Those are the two scenarios. If we go down to the 4 hour, we can see how we might form that. The blue shading is off session, okay? So white is New York session. So these are the highs we're talking about. We haven't broken these highs. This is the leg that brought us down. So we came, pop down, retrace back up, small range, and then we finally drop down. This high, we have failed to close above it on Friday, okay? Because we failed to close above that, we're still in bearish territory, even though we had a big bullish day. So I'm expecting some rejections in this area. New York, hopefully we can take some liquidity and then drop down and roll over, as mentioned. I won't be looking for buys anyway until we've cleanly broken above these highs. All right. And then I wait for a pullback, and then we can target those 42s for that weekly retest. Now, this is further along. If we do break cleanly above these 42s, we can expect price to go further up to the next weekly, which is about 43.5s, which is these levels here. Okay. So if we do break cleanly above 42s, then we can start targeting 43.5s. But as for now, for next week's money, I'm looking at price to be held below this previous high. Some consolidation, then we can roll over. That's what my expectation is. Again, if we break above that, then we can wait for a pullback, and then we can try and target short-term buys back up to 42s. I say short-term because we're obviously still very bearish. The whole weekly and daily has been still very bearish. Let's keep that in mind. If we drop down to the 1 hour, we can see that a bit more clearly. So we can see these pushes down, leg down, retrace, or corrective move or pullback, another drop down, a small pullback, and then just step down, nice and easy. Now we've had a deep pullback. Whenever you have deep pullbacks near weekly levels, you have to be mindful. There's a possibility we could actually drop back down to this base and then shoot back up next week. And that's when we can expect those pullbacks up to the 42s and possibly further. Or we can just, this may have just been a build of liquidity as well for this level, this area here. And we can roll back down to the 40s. Keep in mind though, we've been bearish for a long time, for a couple of weeks now. I do expect a pullback. It's not just going to keep dropping forever. There will be a pullback at some stage. So the pullback will either come after we drop to this base here and we push back up, because this momentum here is not, in my opinion, strong enough to carry us all the way back up to 42s. Usually when US30 moves, I mean, if you take a look at this, how impulsive US30 is, when it impulsive is moving a direction, it moves with intent. Strong pushes and then pull back. Strong push, pull, and then small range. Strong push. All the drops are always with intent. You can see the volume amount that comes in for the push, and then the pullback always has less volume and more candles. If we move over to when it was bullish, it's the same thing. If you look at the bull moves, look at the intent of this drop, and then we had a similar kind of pullback up to the top. Of course, price slowed down in this area here, but you could see the intent was pretty harsh. Okay, and that was of course reacting off this weekly level. Continuing after that, look how strong this momentum is. Strong push, then a small range, then a strong push, strong range, push. You get the picture. So I would have wanted to see a much stronger push to this level if we were going to break these levels straight away and head up to 42s and possibly further up. I think this is going to actually drop back down at some stage, down to this base or down to the 40s, and then we can get that reaction to then hopefully see it back up to 42s and possibly further up. But let's see. As mentioned, next week's money, I'm hoping for this to hold so we can drop back down to this base and hopefully targeting mid 40s. Let's get it.